Alright guys, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video, as I promised before, this is the video where I'm going to rank all the Assassin's Creed games based on their soundtrack, or rather put them in a tier list, not actually rank them. So before we get started, a few things I want to get clear. You might be able to see there are only 4 tiers because in my opinion there is no soundtrack in Assassin's Creed which is bad. So they are pretty much good or really good or really fucking good. There is no in between there. So that's what the tiers are representing. And also, in case there is something where I can't really rank, which let's be honest doesn't exist, I've heard all of them, that would be there. But there was there in some of the other tier lists I was looking at, so I don't actually need that here, but I still kept it anyway. And also another thing, do let me know if the camera works for you guys, because I have pushed it down, so now it's in the bottom right. Now I used to do that when I had the transparent background, but I can't do that because my GPU usage just shoots up and I don't want to do that. So let me know if this works. If the bottom right works, I'll shift my streaming to work that way. I'll also stream Rainbow Six Siege today over on Twitch. I suppose by the time this video is out, I've already done that. So go check that out and see whether if you like it and let me know. So I'll just, if it works, I'll just switch. Anyway, I have wasted enough of your time. Let's get on with the video itself. Alright, so these are in no particular order. I'll just get started. So Assassin's Creed Black Flag Freedom Cry, an Adwale's DLC. I would say that's good. It's a really good soundtrack. I won't say it stands out anything particularly, but it's still a very damn good soundtrack. But then again, you're going to hear that a lot because soundtrack is something Ubisoft usually does not miss at. So yeah, that's pretty good. Now Brotherhood, I would say masterpiece. Again, not the absolute best, but very fucking close. Among the Ezio trilogy, I would say it's the weakest, but like it's still so good that you honestly can't say much about it. Like it is still such a good soundtrack. There are so many good soundtracks which I listen to on a daily basis. So yeah, pretty good. Liberation, I'm gonna again put that as good. Like it's a really good soundtrack. It perfectly complements the game. It sets up the atmosphere perfectly. So yeah, that's good. Now this one, I'm gonna say again, a masterpiece. Now, it's well documented that I'm not the biggest fan of Odyssey. But the one thing the game has going for it is the music. There is no doubt in my mind. I have some of the soundtracks from this literally on my playlist that I listen to every single day. So yeah, it has some really good tracks, and in general, the only things that are going to really differentiate these games are the amount of good tracks in the whole soundtrack. So some of the games which are shorter have an inherent disadvantage in that. So like it consistently has a lot of good soundtracks. So that's why, yeah, it's really, really good. Now as for Origins, I think that's the first game I'm going to put at superb. Really good soundtrack, fantastic job, and it's not the first game that would have probably ended up there, but it deserves to be there. Like honestly, if you were to ask me like why is it that I'm rating Origins above Odyssey, like is there really that much of a difference? I wouldn't say, like in terms of the music, like I don't think there is that much of a difference there. Like they are both really, really good. It's just Origins just brings out something in me. I can't quite explain it. So yeah, that's the whole point of music. The music is supposed to, you know, make you feel stuff. It makes me feel stuff, which is quite an achievement, if I may say so. And another thing, that if I am making this tier list, anyone else can, and they could definitely put Odyssey above Origins, and I wouldn't even bat an eye, because yeah, that's also something that could happen. But yeah, this is my tier list, so just keep that in mind. Revelations, once again, superb. There is no question. Revelations to me, best soundtrack in the entire series. Very close to another game, which I'll get to eventually. But like, yeah, this is to me the best soundtrack. The main theme, just in general, the atmosphere that it creates, the whole soundtrack as it stands, like it's just brilliant. I have no words. So yeah, it is up there. Rogue, again, superb, because, okay, on surface you would think it's not the best game. Like, my opinion of Rogue has gone down since I recently replayed it like 2 days ago. So, but the one thing I still believe is that this is one of the best soundtracks in this entire franchise. Like, virtually every track is good. And I have those tracks again on my playlist. Like, I listen to them on a daily basis. So maybe that's coloring my opinion here, but I do think it is superb. Now we move on to Syndicate. I'm going to say that is really good. Like, when Syndicate first came out and the soundtrack was first released, I immediately downloaded that bad boy, and that's what I was listening for days on end. So I have some experience with Syndicate soundtrack, and I really love it. That's never in question here. It's just that it's not as good as some of the games that I'm going to talk about. So it's still really good. It's not really good or really good. So just good. Yeah, so that's nice. Alright, the next one, Assassin's Creed Unity. It has, you know what, I'm going to put this here. It has really good soundtracks. Both for its co-op missions. Like, the co-op missions have a very different way. It sounds very different. It still feels like it belongs in Unity, but the style is very clearly different, like from other Unity's tracks. So they essentially have two different styles in the game for the co-op missions, the multiplayer missions, and the single player one. And they both sort of complement each other, and they are really good soundtracks in general. So yeah, masterpiece. Now the first Assassin's Creed. A lot of people are going to like me for this, but I don't think it's that special. Again, it is still very good. It's just there are other games that have done things better. Especially the game that comes afterwards, which again is superb. There is no doubt in my mind that after Revelations, AC2 is the one. AC2 is the next game after Revelations, which has the best soundtracks in the whole franchise. Just, there is no doubt in my mind there. Like, these two absolutely belong here. The others, maybe I can debate. I can maybe put one up, one down. But these two, they are definitely here, and there is no doubt in my mind regarding that. So yeah, they are up there. And elaborating a little bit of Assassin's Creed 1, it doesn't mean Assassin's Creed soundtrack isn't good. Because in terms of creating an atmosphere, it probably is one of the best. It's just the sample size is a little bit small, and also not every track is equally good. So that's why it's a little bit lower, but it is still fantastic anyway. See, this is one of those things where I'm just going to praise the whole franchise, because the whole franchise has excellent music. That is one thing Ubisoft just gets it right every single time. Of all their faults, this is one thing they just never miss. Now, Assassin's Creed 3. Wow, I really love Assassin's Creed 3's soundtrack, but I'm going to put this here. Now, why am I not putting it one tier above? Actually, I don't know. Why am I not putting this one tier above? You know what? Screw it. It is superb. Like, it has really good soundtracks. It has some varying styles. Like, again, the modern day being contrasted with, you know, what Connor's music is like. Yeah, like, this is really good. Again, hardly can debate that fact. Then we have Black Flag. Again, no debate here. Like, probably like after AC Revelations 2, it's Black Flag for me. Like, Rogue is very close in my opinion to Black Flag. Some of the soundtracks are inspired by Black Flag in Rogue, but also Rogue does its own thing most of the time. So the very fact that Rogue is inspired a little bit by Black Flag, and also Black Flag is one that created a lot of those. Yeah, Black Flag is obviously going to end up here. Just fantastic soundtrack, creates the excellent atmosphere that we know that game has. I don't have much else to say here. Like, it's really good. Now, moving on from that, we go to Assassin's Creed Chronicles India. I would say it's really good. Not the top tier. I would say this is the weakest among all the other games that are in the category. But it still deserves to be in that category because it has some of those signature soundtracks. And especially as someone from India, I can appreciate the things, the little touches that are there. So yeah, maybe if I wasn't Indian, I wouldn't put it that high. But as it stands, I will. So it's there. Now let's go to Chronicles Russia. and I'm gonna say here. And while we're on the subject, Chronicles China also here. Perfectly adequate soundtracks. They are really good. It's not exactly, they don't exactly sound bad or generic. The one thing I'm really surprised by is that I know a lot of people like, I forget, lasers especially. Like they complain that Ezio family is reused throughout the franchise a lot and it gets tiring. For me, it never gets tiring. The reason why I think that is because, especially from my background, I can appreciate the way they adapt Ezio's family into very different styles of music. Like, if you think about Black Flag, it doesn't really have that much in terms of Ezio's family, in terms of that theme, but Rogue does. Then we have Origins who has that resemblance. AC3 doesn't have that much. Unity has that track. Odyssey has that track, but they are all very different. Yes, they have the same notations, the music sounds the same, but they are very different styles, and that's what I find beautiful, that they link these games back to the franchise with that one track, but that's not what defines these OSTs. They are defined by the other tracks that are also there. You get the sense of the style from the Ezio's family version of that soundtrack, but then when you listen to the other parts of the soundtrack, you can still think that, oh, this is Unity, or oh, this is Odyssey. You still know that these belong to these specific games because of their styles. And so I find it really beautiful that they can adapt Ezio's family into all of these styles, and so that's actually a big point for me. So yeah, I really love the fact that they can adapt this style, and it essentially that it has become the de facto theme of Assassin's Creed. So if there's an Assassin's Creed game, chances are it has some version of Ezio's family in it. So that's it. The last one, of course, is Valhalla. I'm gonna say superb. Again, there is a lot of problems I have with Valhalla, but I love the story and I love the music. The music is on point. And why wouldn't it be? Because he also composed 2 of the other games. Actually, 3 of the other games. So it's not really surprising that he consistently writes good music for Assassin's Creed. He knows what Assassin's Creed music is supposed to sound like, and he fucking delivers. So yeah, that's also superb. I know this tier list is a little bit short. I know it didn't really take long. What is 13 minutes on, and like I'll probably edit out like 2-3 minutes out of that, so 10 minutes. So yeah, this is not a particularly long video. It's just how I feel about the franchise. Like soundtrack is something, like music is something. I don't sing anymore because I just don't have the voice anymore to sing. But I was very close with music for a long part of my life, and so this is something that personally affects me. So when there is some really good music, I appreciate it. And Assassin's Creed, for the most part, has never disappointed me in that regard. So yeah, this is my tier list. Do let me know down in the comments below what you guys think. What would your tier list look like? What adjustments would you make? And all that said, again, like and subscribe, you know, the usual YouTube thing. And I will leave you guys in peace.